Tell me about the HIV car thief.
Later in my career, my partner was off. Another guy in the office who I like to work with, his partner was off. He's on the phone for about 10 minutes. He goes, I just got the strangest phone call. I said, what's up? He goes, some guy's on the phone and he says his boyfriend stole a car. I said, yeah. He goes, the guy goes into clubs in Manhattan. And what he does is he waits until the hat check girl or guy disappears. He runs into the cloakroom. He starts going through people's pockets. He gets their key fob. Then he walks around the neighborhood pushing the key fob. And that's how he steals a car. He goes, he's got a Mitsubishi Galant parked on, I think it was on somewhere up in the 4-3. He says he swapped the plates on it already. He says, but the car is sitting up there. I said, okay. And he goes, you want to sit on it? I said, all right. So we got another guy in the car. So the three of us ride up there. We're sitting on this thing for a couple hours, and the car's not moving. So I says, well, let's see if we can get them to move this thing faster. So we went into a bodega and got a dozen eggs and egged the shit out of the car. A lot of times that will motivate somebody to move a stolen car, because if they got an order for it or something, they go, what the fuck? And they'll go and get the car washed. So that doesn't motivate them. We're still sitting up there. So one of the guys we're working with gets hungry and he goes, we got to get something to eat. So I said, all right, go get something to eat, take the car. We'll stand on the corner. If someone gets in the car, we'll yoke this guy ourselves. We'll call you. He goes, all right. Guy's gone 5 minutes. I see the light blinking. I go, fucking believe it. So my buddy and I, we see this guy in a big yellow canary fleece, and he's looking at the car, and you can tell he's pissed the car is egged. And he's flicking the eggshells off, right? I go, that's him. So I tell my buddy, I says, I'm going to walk on the sidewalk. I go, you walk across the street. When we start in parallel, I says, as soon as he gets in that car, I'm going to come up on the passenger side. You get him on the driver's side. He goes, all right. As soon as he gets in that car, I run up on him and I get the door open. And he looks at me. I go, get the fuck out of the car. He starts the car and he puts it in drive. So now he's ramming, reverse drive, ramming the cars. I'm in the car and I'm punching him. Finally, my buddy distracts him enough. I get the key out of the ignition. I toss it. Now he's got nowhere to go. I run around the car and we're pulling this guy. And he got out and we later find out he's a bodybuilder. I'm 5'9" and 165 pounds. The other guy was a little heavier than me. And it was a fight. Like, he's punching us. We're punching him. He's falling down. I'm falling down. I grab his legs, knock him down. It's just... And while we're fighting, I notice a crowd forms. Now, the crowd isn't hostile, but they're watching it. And no one's calling 911, right? So finally, I'm like, where's my radio? I look. My radio popped out and had slid a little halfway underneath the car. And my buddy either didn't have a radio or he couldn't get it. And we're talking while we're fighting with this guy. And I go, and the guy could hear us. And I'm like, can you hold him just a second? And he goes, go for it. Got the radio, 1013. Now you hear the cavalry coming. I go, dude, I'm telling you right now, it's time to give up. I says, in a second, there's going to be a cavalry here. And he goes, all right. He let us cuff him. Cuffed the guy up. Now we're covered in blood. Just covered in blood. Put him in the radio car. Guy shows up with the food. What happened? So much more to this story. I encourage you to read my book.
Yeah.
So the guy goes, can I talk to you? And I'm pissed. I go, what the fuck do you want to talk about? He goes, I'm HIV positive. I said, oh, shit. So I tell my buddy. So we all in 2 cars go to the hospital. The guy with the food is dealing with the prisoner who's covered in blood. We run into the hospital, we're covered in blood. We find, like in a hospital, you got those little closet bathrooms. Like, we kick in the door. That water is super hot, and you've got like that super soap. And my buddy and I are just, this is the good stuff, like just scrubbing and pulling off our clothes, right? And I'm looking, do I got any nicks? Do I got any open cuts, right? So finally, we got seen together by the emergency room doctor, really nice guy. And he goes, what's your concern? I said, what's my concern? I says, the guy in the next cubicle just told us he's HIV positive and we're covered in his blood. And he goes, I examined you both. He goes, I don't see any open cuts and wounds on you. He says, did it get in your eyes? I said, no, that much I knew. No. He says, there's 2 ways we can go with this. He says, I can start you on an experimental antiviral cocktail of drugs. I said, okay. He says, but I'm just going to tell you, some people have had some adverse reactions to it. It might harm your kidneys, your liver. She goes, I'll let you two talk it out. You let me know what you want to do. I told my wife, what do you want to do? We're like two children. What do you want to do? I said, I think we're good. I says, what do you say? I said, I'm not going to do it. And he goes, fuck it. I'm not going to do it either. So every 6 months, we had to go get tested, and did it for a couple of years. And thank God.
Wow.
Yeah. But I mean, that's the things people don't realize with cops, like getting stuck with a needle.
Absolutely.
Or you're fighting with people, and